ongoing adventures of Maxwell Starr's beer review. Tonight we're going to take a look at a new product in NB liquor stores. Well, new product at the time of this recording. I just got this a week ago. This is going to take a look at St. Ambroise Session IPA. I'll try to upload this sooner than later. But I just had their Double IPA, so I'm kind of a little feeling it. But this is St. Ambroise Session IPA. 4.5% ABV. Yeah, so does it have any details like the double does? Okay, so it says hops that were used, type Session IPA, Cascade Chinook Citra for hops, 55 IBUs, saying served between 5 and 10 degrees, which it pretty much is, and its original gravity is 11.1% Plato. You know, for a brewery as big as St. Ambroise to include that kind of information, it's pretty cool. It adds, it's kind of like their double IPA, which I drank just before this. It's not as strong, and the hops is obviously not as strong in the ABV. And it adds Citra hops, so that should be interesting because I like Citra hops. 4.5% ABV though, like a lot of session IPAs, that's kind of like leaning towards the stronger side of things, but it is below 5%, so it's pretty sessionable. So let's pop top off of this one here and take a quick look, so I can keep drinking, because I'm on BDU tonight and I'm muted, and everybody's probably making fun of me like they did the fucking last time. So let's pour that out. BDU, of course, is Beardweebs United on Albino Rhino's channel. Check it out every Wednesday night, unless the schedule changes. It's an awesome, fun time to be had by all. Especially me, because I get to be on it. Okay, so, whoa, that's really yellow. That's straw-colored. Wow. It's a slight bit hazy. There's a little bit of haze to it. It's not absolutely cold. There's very mild carbonation, if you can see that coming up through the glass. Quite a bit of head, you know, like your average bubbled head. And it looks fairly white. There may be like an off yellow kind of hint to it. Let's give it a sniff. You know, its aroma characteristic is very similar to the Double IPA. It's kind of got this big, mostly biscuity, malt forward kind of note. Maybe a hint of like grapefruit or pine, mostly grapefruit. But it's very much a hint underneath all of that big biscuit smell that's coming across. And almost like I've used this analogy on the show before, and I don't think anybody has ever understood it, but it kind of gives me that impression of like a sniffing a brand new shoe. Kind of got that bit of like a brand new shoe, kind of like that plastic fabric kind of smell. But obviously it's biscuit and mild hops. Weird. Anyway, smells interesting. I mean, you know, it's kind of iffy on the aroma, to be totally honest. And I know it's at least a fresh can. What is a French can? But it's a fresh can. It's a fresh. Let's put this thing down the hatch. Cheers. Wow. You know, for being 4.5% ABV, there's a decent amount of malt coming up through the center of that. But on top of that, I described the Double IPA as having this kind of like this rough, rocky cascade of Cascade hops coming over the top of it. And this is very much similar. This has got, you get that mild malt caramel biscuity backbone underneath this nice, this one here is almost like it's this orange marmalade kind of taste. That must be the citras. Underneath this, like this grapefruit, and maybe a hint of pine coming up over the top of this mainly malt backbone. And it's not super strong, but it carries some big flavors. Maybe this is owing towards its heavier IBU than its IBU, the heavier ABV, like alcohol content. than some of the other session IPAs that are out there, like I can't remember what Muskoka Detour was, but it was pretty much soda water. This one actually brings a lot of flavor to the plate, and I actually really appreciate that. Because when it comes to Session IPA, yeah, I want something that's a little bit lighter, but I want something that's going to bring at least some flavor. And the only downside is that maybe it's too much flavor to really make this thing thoroughly sessionable. And that's almost like double-edged sword in that department. See, I love that this brings a lot of flavor to the plate. As far as body goes, I just had the double IPA before this. It's almost indistinguishable. Yes, that one's a little bit thicker and syrupy, but as compared to that one, I don't feel like sometimes when you move on to a better beer or a stronger beer, then you go back to a lighter beer, you almost feel like this thing is watery and it doesn't have much content. With this one here, my initial impression is, wow, there's actually a lot to this. And I do appreciate that part of it. I just think that in comparison to double IPA, it's like really close to that, despite being almost half the alcohol content. And I think that it's a little thick. And that's something I don't usually say. If you're looking for a sessionable beer, if you're looking for something that's got a lot of flavor, this is really nice. If you're looking for something that's sessionable that you could drink tons of, I don't think you could drink as many of this as you could of some of the other session IPAs out there. But that said, I really appreciate this one. This one's actually really nice. I mean, there's a little bit of earthy resin fading into a soda water. Well, not soda water, but there's almost no soda water to this. But it fades into this slightly lingering, fruity marmalade taste and into dryness. And I actually really like this. So at the same time, it's almost one of the best session IPAs that I've ever had. But when it comes to session IPA, you want something hoppy that you're going to be able to drink a lot of, and I find it a little thick on that side, and it might hamper its ability to drink a lot of these. And that's it's tough. Because I really like this. I mean, it's not perfect. I guess I'd have to give it 3.5. It's almost like bordering on a 3.75. It's just it's not that good. It's that thickness that it's almost not. It's a session IPA. That's a great session IPA, but it's not sessionable enough to be a session IPA. If that makes any sense. Anyway, I do recommend trying it. See if you like it. Maybe you find yourself with different results than I do. Of course, it's not like perfect or anything, but for me, it wouldn't be the first one I would lean to for a sessional IPA, but it's definitely one that I would say is a good one. Anyway, thanks for watching Maxwell Starr's beer review of St. Ambroise Session IPA. 4.5% ABV, 3.5 out of 5. Thank you for watching Maxwell Starr's beer reviews. We'll chat with you folks later. Cheers.